Good morning, gentlemen. What a wonderful time to talk to you all. I will say it's a wonderful time, but जो मैं टॉपिक पे करने लगा हूँ ये टॉपिक्स जो है वंडरफुल नहीं है. I'm going to talk about the conduct of our national security advisor अजीत डोवल. ये एक आईपीएस के अफसर हैं और मुझे बहुत दुख हुआ है कि he has gone around making statements like कि इंडियन नेशन जो है इसको अवेंज करना चाहिए 1000 years की हिस्ट्री. Now the word here uses avenge करना चाहिए. Avenge means as good as revenge. तो ये मुझे बहुत ही अफसोस की बात है कि such a senior man who has spent time as a central government officer should go and make such comments. I don't know उसकी अंदर से आवाज निकली है या it is a prop or a prong by the ruling BJP party which believes in such things. एक बात these people must realize कि जो हिस्ट्री एक बार होती है, जो इवेंट टेक प्लेस होते हैं, they cannot be duplicated. ये बात रखिएगा. यानी whatever has happened in history cannot be deleted. एक तो ये भी बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट बात है. क्या आप औरंगजेब का राज जो था या मोहम्मद गजनी जब आए हैं वो हिस्ट्री से निकाल देंगे आप? क्या आप निकाल देंगे द फैक्ट कि जो हिंदूज थे वो हर एक लड़ाई में हार गए? ये फैक्ट निकाल देंगे आप? जो जो हमारे महारथी थे, राणा प्रताप, राणा संगा और सिख फौज जो थी जो अल्टीमेटली हार गई, मराठा जो थे जो हार गए, तो ये सब हिस्ट्री से निकाल देंगे? और क्या निकाल देंगे फैक्ट कि हिंदू जो थे वो क्यों ये हार गए, क्यों अपने ही देश में नौकर बन गए? Why did it happen? Can you take it out of world history, Indian history? Then why do you talk of such things, कि we will avenge what the events of the last 1000 years? And the question is, आप avenge करेंगे and whom are you going to avenge upon? किसके ऊपर करेंगे? Are you going to avenge on the Sikhs, on the Christians, on the Dalits who betrayed the Hindus so many times in battle, or against the Muslims who form about 20 to 22% of the Indian population? So on whom are you going to avenge yourself? Whom are you going to expiate whatever has happened in the events of the last 1000 years? I'm not going to repeat the history of what has happened in the last 1000 years. That is well known. Right from, I think it was the 10th century or the 9th century when Muhammad bin Qasim came all the way from Saudi Arabia and defeated the king of Sindh. His name was King Dahir and he was beheaded in the battle. From the time the British came in 1764 and defeated the Muslim rulers in India, and to the time they left India in 1947 is a period of almost 1000 years. And during these 1000 years, it's a world record. I don't think you can get it anywhere that the majority community, that was the Hindus, were basically the servants of the rulers. I use the word servants and not slaves because they were not slaves. They were given certain element of freedom. They were given certain rights also. And many kings who ruled, the Muslim kings, are very um, pragmatic, very broad in mind, and they didn't trouble the Hindus. Many of them took the help of the Hindus in ruling India. So I will not use the word slave. They were not slaves, but they were servants. And in some places, like the Rajputs, who never opposed the Muslims, they were given a co-share in the ruling of India. And we must not forget that Akbar and Aurangzeb's two major generals, that are Raja Man Singh and Raja Jai Singh, they were Hindus and they led the Muslim armies and the combined Hindu-Muslim armies in battle. And they led them on battle against the Hindus. So Ajit Doval must explain ये enigma जो है, how is he going to justify it? और ऐसी बातें करना आई थिंक इज बहुत वाहियात है. इट्स इन अ डेमोक्रेसी, इन अ रिपब्लिक विच इज सेकुलर, such things are not tolerated or should not be tolerated also. At the same time, I will say India is a free country, certainly, And if somebody wants to make such comments like this, well, he's most welcome to do it. But then I have the option also of trying to say that such a gentleman is wrong. See, we have something called the freedom of speech in India. And using that connotation, I will say whatever Mr. Doval says, I mean, he's welcome to say it. But he's in an important position. He's a security advisor to the government of India. And when he makes such statements, and I think these statements have been echoed by Narendra Modi also in his latest address at the Somnath temple. And the history of the Somnath temple is very, very dicey in the sense that we know that it was ransacked by Muhammad Ghazni, and there used to be a golden, I think, ling which was there, made of pure gold, which was broken by his sword, which he broke with his sword. Now, it is not that the word avenge we can use against the Muslims alone, because at that time the Hindus were not united. That's the crux of the issue. And there's one major factor which needs to be avenged is the caste system in India. Now, this has been perpetuated by Mr. Modi, and he has also agreed for a caste census. I mean, it's just about shows the shallowness of the Indian Prime Minister that he wants now a caste system census, and that is going to break India further. In fact, I will say it breaks the Hindus. Well, he's most welcome to it because he's the man in power. And but maybe at some stage, I'm hoping for the day when somebody like Frederick the Great or Bismarck, who made Germany, will come and he will change all these things which the BJP is saying. Now, the BJP has a lot to answer, including the RSS. And I'm digressing and saying something else because I believe the Hindus should be united and not driven by caste. The RSS, when it was formed in 1925, formed with the express mandate that the mandate was that we will do away with the caste system. We present the Hindus as a monolith unity, and they coined the word Hindutva. Hindutva means actually the unity of the Hindus so that they can be united and they can propagate their faith. That is what Hindutva is. Hindutva doesn't mean that you're going to divide the Hindus into castes, Shudras, and then further subdivide into either Aroda or either Maratha and all that. But unfortunately, the RSS under Mohan Bhagwat, he's got to talk to answer. He won't answer because he's going around with Z security. And if such a man needs Z security, well, you can well imagine what his thoughts and ideas are. He's gone around and saying that, well, now he's agreed for the caste system, he's agreed for the um, subdivision caste um, mandate, or shall we say the division of castes, the census. I mean, how can you do such a thing? You've done away with the ideals of the RSS, which were there, and now you're thinking that you're going to lead India forward? I don't think so. So, gentlemen, this is one of the points which I wanted to talk about. The second point which I want to talk about is the much hyped deal of the Rafale fighter with France. India, I believe, has carried out one of the biggest military deals in the world with 114 aircraft, the Rafale being called. Now, let's be very frank. There's the government propaganda is saying that it's part of the Atam Nirbhar and these planes would be made in India. Now, I'll give you a small example and I need not amplify anything after that. When I was doing the staff services course, we had gone to the Hindustan Aeronautics Factory where the Jaguar was being assembled in India. And the chief engineer proudly told us, gentlemen, we are making 92% of the Jaguar parts in India. Wonderful. Then somebody asked, सर ये जो बाकी 8% है इनका क्या हो रहा है अगर वो नहीं आएंगे तो फिर क्या होगा and he had a one line answer अगर वो 8% नहीं आएंगे the plane will not fly. So just imagine you make 92% of the parts in India, and if you don't get the 8%, the plane doesn't fly. That is called Atam Nirbhar. I think it's a total dependence on the British at that time, the Anglo French Jaguar. And now, all this talk of Atma Nirbhar, which that you're going to make the Rafale in India is again a lot of BS. Because what does it mean? It means nothing. It means you're going to make the aircraft, some portion of the crucial components will not be made in India and the plane will not fly if those components are stopped. And talk of the Rafale, it's a 4.5 generation fighter, doesn't match the F-35 at all. And people who talk, they talk out of their hats. I've been in the Air Force for years and I know what planes are. And I don't think this plane, the Rafale, is a match for the F-35. I don't know whether it will be a match on the fifth generation Chinese fighter, the J-20, the Chengdu, which is already in service. And India are going to bring their planes into service maybe after another 3 to 5 years. We got 36 planes, but getting the entire 114 and making some of them in India is going to take almost a decade. And by that time, the Indians are hoping that their own fifth generation fighter will come up, and that will be in operation around 2036. By that time, that plane, the fifth generation, which India going to be outdated. So, gentlemen, these are harsh facts which you must understand, not go by propaganda. Somebody keeps saying, and then fooling the public. That's what it means. So the 114 Rafales which will come will take some couple of years before they're made fully operational. And even if you start making those planes, they're not going to make anything different for the Indian defense resilience. And before I close, I would like to make one statement here that no country became a global power by importing weapons. So India's got to change its thoughts, probably do reverse engineering, probably do something else like the Chinese do, and so that they can copy the aircraft, make it in their own, and then only India can be global power. Well, that's it. I'll come to the end of this video. I hope you like it, gentlemen. And if you like it, please share it with your friends. And I look forward to your subscription. It's very important. I want my base to grow. I have got a couple of thousand subscribers, but that's not enough. And I look forward to a better uh, response from my listeners and the men who already follow me. Well, gentlemen, I've touched on two important topics, that is, the statements of Mr. Ajit Doval and his words of avenge, and also given you insight into the Rafale. Goodbye, God bless, and let's hope Jai Hind.